What it is.
Yes. Good evening,
Another
America.
another episode of Soul Cycle Alchemy,
Yep.
where we delve into the spiritual world that eludes humanity.
Yeah. We take this shit on like Tahuti, like Hermes, the Emerald Tablets.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah,
man,
so
it's been a real productive week for me. How about you?
yeah, same here. Very productive, man. Very productive week.
The fact that
And
I'm doing my show right now
hmm
shows that I've been peace, brother, Yavid. That brother always come in and support us.
oh, okay.
Yavid.
Yeah, there he
Yeah,
is.
I went to Dorsey High School with that brother.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When it, an old fellow Don. Their mascot's called the Dons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I went
Dorsey Don.
Dorsey Don. Well, I went to Bourbon Day, the Bourbon Day Eagles, class of '83.
Where's Vermin Day at?
111th and Central, right in the heart of Watts.
111 and Central.
Yeah, right in front of the Nickerson Gardens.
Wow. I didn't know you went there. You went there. I grew up on the east side. I went to
Yeah,
West Side School. I went to schools outside of the.
your district.
I went to schools outside of the hood, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, well, normally I did, but all my friends went to Bourbon Day, so I had to go there. And Bourbon Day was it was a highly athletic school. I mean, they were very good.
Yeah, that's the
Athletic.
private school. That's the private school, right?
Yeah, it's a private school. I went to private school all my life. I was
Yeah, I
going to
know,
go.
I know, I know about Bourbon Day. I
Hmm.
used to walk past it damn near every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I graduated with Hardy Nickerson, who played for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Uh, I went Roy Hamilton's little brother, Alexander Hamilton. He was the quarterback and all American guard. Never lost. I think he only lost one game in football. He played 2 years, two championships. They were stupid.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
were.
even know Bourbon Day was a football school like that. Like,
They were when I was there. Normally, they're normally known for basketball, but when I went there, we won championships in football. We didn't win one basketball championship when I was there, and all they did was win basketball championships. But I saw the era where they won two football championships in a row and had the longest winning streak in California. But that shit didn't last long the next year after we left. they the class of '84, they did a real good job fucking up everything that we built up.
the brother said he lived on 109th and Central. That's like right
109th
down the
and
street. That's
oh
right down the
shit.
street. Yeah.
Yeah, he was right up the street from us.
Yeah. I was living on 106 and Clover, so that's some walking distance too.
Mm-hmm.
106 and Clovis.
Oh, Clovis, okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
grew up in that area, man. That's my stomping grounds right there.
Oh, okay.
I grew up all around there. Watts, homie. Watts
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that was Watts, man.
Watts
That was
Yeah.
Watts like a mug. We were like this little tiny island in
The
the
whole thing
middle of.
about it is Nipsey was closely connected to Watts because he went to what was that school he went to right there by
Lock
no, he didn't go to Locke. He went to
Centennial.
no, he didn't go to Centennial. He went to the one right there by the Jordan, not the Jordan Downs, but the yeah, by the Jordan Downs.
Oh,
Not about the Jordan Downs, but
Jefferson.
no, it's not
Oh,
Jefferson.
Gompers. No, wait, no.
No, no, he didn't go to
Oh,
Gompers either.
okay. I know the one you're talking about. Um, oh,
Yeah, Markham. Yeah, he went to Markham.
he went to where?
Markham.
Markham. Damn.
Yeah,
Oh, they
yeah,
still around? I never heard of that one.
yeah. You know, right there is it's not, it's a, it's a junior high.
Oh, it's a junior high.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where, I mean, this is like a lot of spiritual people came out of Watts. That's all I
Yeah.
Watts is
Yeah.
a very, very spiritual area, man. For real.
And not only that, but Watts is not a terrible looking place. They've got some beautiful homes in Watts. There's some areas.
There's areas where it's like upper class people that actually live. It's like an upper class area.
Yeah.
Like right there, right there, like downtown, what they refer to as downtown Watts, where the library is, and that's supposed to be like all that area over there where the cul-de-sac, that's like people got money right there.
Yeah.
You know
Now, but when you get over there by the projects, the Nickerson Gardens, it's a whole different story.
Right.
Yeah, that's the other side of Watts. It's like kind of like in Baldwin Hills, you have $1 million mansions up in the hill, and below the hill you have the jungle where the Black Keystone.
The whole dynamics of LA is based in that dynamics of the most upper class areas. Like go downtown, like you got penthouses and fucking condos, and right downstairs you got people sleeping in tents.
Yeah, you got motherfuckers shooting up, sleeping in tents.
Right there where you know what I'm saying? You got the restaurant right here with valet parking. And people right down the street shooting up.
Yeah, motherfuckers driving down the street and goddamn Benzes and Beamers and shit.
Right.
And then motherfuckers around the corner with a goddamn shopping cart full of junk and all kind of shit. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And what's crazy too is the fact that I think rich people like to see that to make themselves feel like they're doing something. Like they like to come downstairs and see poor people.
Yeah. Oh, here's $1. Yeah. Need any blankets?
Right.
Yeah. They'll help us. They'll help us in our hole. They'll nurture us in the hole. Here are all the things you need to be comfortable in your little hole. Here it is. Just don't try to get out.
Yeah, but LA is a crazy dynamics like that where the poor and the rich live amongst each other like very close. They're very close.
Yeah,
I did it myself.
I mean, right on one side of the block you have $1 million house, and on the other side of the block you got a bunch of Section 8 apartments and shit.
Right. I know that's hard for developers. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of why the prices in LA for home prices are so fluctuated. It's like very high in the sense of you all of the area is prime area, but they don't got usage or they don't got access to all the area because a lot of it is full with poor people. You know what I'm saying? So developers have a hard time sometimes thinking, okay, where I want to develop, oh, you got these areas, but they're trying to gentrify a lot of areas now. So,
they're putting these really quick, cheap, white and beige apartments. All these, this one company just throwing these apartments up on every corner. It can be downtown, anywhere. I mean, they're throwing these cheap apartments up. real fast to try to make the property value more appealing. But
Do you think these buildings are quality or just quantity?
quantity ain't no quality. No,
Right. Well, they're
they're
supposed to be living up to a certain standard as it pertains to they have to be earthquake fitted and all that stuff. So,
mhm,
but other than that, they probably
fall
cut
apart.
corners. They cut corners depending on what area.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they're because they're putting these places up so fast. But I guess it's these corporations like BlackRock and all their affiliates that owns all the real estate now. They're just
That is crazy how fast these buildings are coming up.
and I think these are smart buildings or smart apartments.
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
going to be the new.
you didn't even do the mantra, bro. You need to do the mantra.
Let's go into that.
Before we go further, let's do the mantra.
Through the power, force, might, and will of the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life, from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and becoming realized into physical realization, actualization, and form as we are now willing and commanded to be, is now being and becoming an active force of higher consciousness and an active force of infinite intelligence within us all now. Being and becoming the great primordial dragon god son, Kundalini flame, now whirling and ascending up our spine from our root chakra to our central heart chakra and on up to our royal crown chakra, igniting our royal crown chakra, illuminating our first eye. The Lord Amunel Drakra, the hidden priestly grandmaster, magi, dragon god, son, king, and queen, igniting all of the 72 chakras in our first eye, our 72 primordial dragon god, son, kings, and queens, and all of our legions of 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 armies 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 of armies. Now, being and becoming our own Grandmaster, Mother, Dragon God, Son, Light Being, Mind, Ship, Merkaba. Now, opening up a supermassive black hole, folding this time and space continuum, returning back to our original primordial beginning, returning back to our original primordial station and original primordial DNA blueprint before creation and humanity and before the fall of our primordial soul, renewing our dark matter and dark energy souls, reabsorbing our original primordial essences, reuniting the divine spark back to its original primordial charge, recharging our infinite soul back with the great Mother Dragon Goddess Queen, being and becoming something brand new that's never been, being and becoming one with the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being and become realized into physical realization, actualization, and form as we want to command it to be. Now, bring it all out war, judgment, death, and destruction to the multi-universe created by the lower multi-dimensional archonic demiurge, archonic, angelic, demonic energies that slayed our primordial souls before creation, using our primordial energy to create this light and energy extraction creation matrix, imprisoning our souls, keeping us ignorant to our higher selves so it can feed off of our light through this wicked worldly system until now, because now's the time of their fall as our new primordial dark matter, dark energy, higher selves return back to creation from our primordial beginning, traveling through a supermassive black hole in our Grandmaster Mother Dragon God Son, Light Being, Mind Ship, Merkaba. Now, ripping through and tearing a hole into this space-time continuum, circling all of the corners of the earth, awakening all of the holy divine sparks at once. Now, all shedding their physical cocoons, becoming beings of dark matter, dark energy souls, emitting a new primordial light. Now, all ascending up into the Grand Master Mother, Dragon God, Sunlight Being Mindship, along with the infinite soul of Mother Earth and in the infinite soul of all of her children, leaving an empty shell behind as we open up a supermassive black hole, folding out of this creation matrix as it is completely destroyed, as we are all now reunited back with the infinite all as one, now free to begin experiencing the divine, true divine love, becoming a new primordial universe, the earth, where the earth is renewed into something beyond description, as our souls are now free to become our own worlds as kings and queens, exploring a new and never explored universe and multiverse in peace, love, and harmony, until this day of Brahma has become the next night of Brahma, through the power, force, and might, will of the great nothingness of infinite beingness, of infinite, endless, limitless, invisible life, from which comes the absolute all that was, all that is, and all that is being to become realized into physical realization, actualization, and form as we are now will and commanded to be. Abracadabra, Ashe.
Ashe. Crystal changer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great. You can really meditate off of that. That's a hell of a good meditation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of one too. It's taking me time because I'm actually starting to write the structure of the government.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I've been throwing out ideas. I mean, having ideas for it just by going through these lessons for the body politic formation, just get familiarized with some of the concepts is now making me think of how to structure the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
The more you. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about too. How the spiritual thing that's happening to us as the evolution, soul evolution that's happening to us is really us creating this reality, creating other realities. We're creating a whole nother reality that haven't been created.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
We're creating something totally different.
Well,
Right.
by us taking back, rising up, forming our own, forming our own government, governing over our own affairs, then we are in control of our own destiny. That's when we take control of our own destiny as a people and as individuals.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just
And
the ritual. That's just the ritual on what appears to be the physical reality. It's a ritual. Us establishing the structure, it's a ritual that we're doing that actually reverberates through all dimensions.
oh, yeah.
It reverberates through all dimensions. So our see what we're learning now is that not only are all the dimensions fluent and right, especially now all of the dimensions, but time is fluent now. Our perception of time is fluent now. So the future, the future is the past. This is everything that's changed. This is why the whole reference point of what we've been programmed from has become obsolete now. Whatever we've been programmed with has become obsolete at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because
Now it's all a potentiality is endless mindset. Potentiality is endless mindset.
yeah, it's like these new portals are opening up and coming online. And through these new portals, we have access to information or knowledge that we once didn't have. And, or we, well, it was there, but we just weren't aware of it. But now that these portals inside of us are opening up, we have access to that information, or we can gain access to that information.
What they're referring to as junk DNA is coming online now.
Yeah.
And a lot of what comes online is what is referred to as a superpower. They even talked about it in the new Eternal
Mm-hmm.
Eternals, right? They talked about how they left these aliens left something to spark something into humanity genetics when it
Mm-hmm.
comes when a certain time comes or whatever. And it, this is a recurring theme across a lot of different stories and a lot of different modern mythologies. Is that something's in our DNA that's latent right now that's coming
Mm-hmm.
online,
Mm-hmm.
especially based on the particular cycle we in, energetic cycle, because people attribute it to the procession. They attribute
Mm-hmm.
it to, are we in a certain area of time? We're in a certain orbit right now that we're being exposed to certain light that we hadn't been exposed to prior.
Yeah, cosmic rays from
Right.
the from the
So
galactic
it's the combination of all these things though
center.
that's
Yeah.
supporting that's facilitating this evolution of our soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a whole new species is coming online. A whole new. I think we're about to see the birth of a new species.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening. That's
Yes.
exactly what's happening. So all of what you would think in humanity, that's becoming obsolete now. All of that humanity stuff is obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tell y'all, you keep thinking like a human, and we evolving into something totally beyond what humanity is, then you're not going to get what's happening. You're going to not vibrate. I mean, resonate with the vibration that we're entering into. You're not resonating. Those who don't resonate, they're going to still experience this old energy, right? Until they rise their vibration. You're going to have to rise. You're going to have to rise your vibration.
And they're
In
gonna be
order
like the
for you
person.
to experience the energy of this lower vibration that we're entering out of.
They're gonna be like a person, one of those spiritually nostalgia persons. Like, let's say, you know, it's 2022 and someone is still left in the 1950s. You know, listening to 1950s music. You know, living the diner lifestyle in 2022. But that's old. They're like still stuck in an epoch a long time ago. But
Yeah, because we don't understand how energies change and shift over time. You have to adjust to the energy.
yeah,
You have to
yeah,
adjust to the energy. If you
yeah.
still stuck in, if you, see, you got like you said. I know people who still stuck in the energy of the '80s. They
Mm-hmm.
still got a Jerry curl,
Yeah.
right? They still operate in the same processes based on how they was operating in the '80s because that's a more familiar energy to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my thing is, all of these energies are part of you, but
Mm-hmm.
there are more relevant energies inside of you that's trying to come online right now.
Yeah. I mean, if they hold on to that long enough, we'll probably come back around to that again, and they'll be back in style.
You know what? It appears that they hold them in place in time by doing that, by not adjusting to the energy, fluent in the energies and stuff. They hold
Hmm.
that in time space. This is why you
Yeah.
can go back in time because you have literal beings that are holding that time space in their own existence. They're
Mm.
holding that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's like something that nostalgia for them, and they keep repeating it over and over again, and it becomes a place in time. It literally becomes a place in time. Now you can go back to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Mm.
That's how you go back,
That's how you go back. Okay.
right? You gotta. Some people holding on to it. I mean, we
Yeah.
all well put it like this. Let me say, all of it is still part of you.
Yeah.
Your past, your present, and your future is always a present. But
Mm.
now they're simultaneously one.
Yeah, because yeah.
Everything is becoming one on the one is what I'm saying. How in funk everything is on the one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everything is the one. At the end of the day, everything beyond that is just based on the one. The one is like the canvas from what you creation can't even. There is no creation without the one.
Mm-hmm.
There's no creation. You know what I'm saying? And then when I'm with the one, what you're dealing with the one, right? Is that you're dealing with an energy that goes back. That's the strings from the primordial energy, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is crazy because it's so multi-expressive. You can express it in so many different ways. That same energy.
So you're talking about like the original blueprint energy?
It wasn't a blueprint because it was no reference point at that. There was
Oh,
no there was no like right now there is no reference point. We're literally creating something totally different right now. There's no reference point. Like you go to a reference point, you lock yourself in, you crystallizing this thing inside your head. This is I'm telling you this how much power we have right now.
okay. Yeah, you want to keep it flowing. You don't want it.
It's
You don't want that
fluent,
shit.
yes.
You don't want
Everything
that
is
shit to turn
fluent
into.
now.
You don't
Breathe
want to.
water, my friend. Breathe water.
Yeah, what happens when water is not flowing? It turns into a swamp.
Woo, it dies.
Yeah, it dies, and
Literally.
everything in it dies.
Right,
Yeah, yeah. You just got that swampy, muddy quicksand water.
right. It's
Yeah.
it's the it's the concept of the force. It's the concept of flow. The
Mm-hmm.
flow, right?
Well,
People,
rhythm.
that's crazy. That's
The
crazy because
vibration.
in hip hop, right? They don't even understand what they talking about when they say the flow. When we flowing,
Yeah.
the one of the ultimate flowers of all time was Biggie.
Biggie.
Listen to his flow,
Okay.
right? Because he tuning in to a higher frequency. When he flowing,
Mm-hmm.
when he flowing, that's some spiritual shit, man. That is
Yeah.
on some high spiritual shit. Cause the flow,
That's called the zone. Well, the flow. That's
yes, the flow,
yeah.
the zone.
Yeah.
That's
I,
that. That's that. It's a version of what we call the divine dark, the divine dark, because it's conscious beyond conscious. It's conscious with it's conscious beyond conscious, but it's conscious is awareness within awareness. If like the thing about it, I don't want it to make sense right now. If I'm making sense to you, you ain't getting it.
speaking of flow, I have this is flow to me.
Right, right,
Yeah, I have
right,
flow.
right.
Yeah.
No, it's the actual deity. No, I give honors
Yeah,
to
yeah,
flow.
it's a deity. It
I give
came
honors
this
to flow. No, I give honors to the flow. To flow.
yeah, yeah, flow.
That's a feminine energy of the universe.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh-huh.
feminine energy of the universe that you got to pay homage to.
Yeah, I call it flow, the cosmic flower constantly blooming the absolute all into being.
Right, because you got to stay in the flow.
Yeah.
I just stay. That's like the grace of God. Even that's even more potent than the grace of God. The flow, being in the flow. Oh my God,
Oh
you
yeah.
there,
Or
man.
you
You just ride
another
that
word,
flow. You ride the wave. Now
another word is the zone, being in the zone.
the zone. It's the same thing. Yes, you're right.
Mhm. Can do
Being in
no
the
wrong when you're in the zone.
right.
Can't do no wrong when you're in
What
the,
happens is you go beyond human consciousness. You're not even thinking about it. You're just doing it. You just doing it now. It's like instinctively, like
mm-hmm. That's how it was this week for me. I was in the zone in my trading, man. It's like whatever the market did, I know exactly what to do. When whereas in the past, I didn't do that, and I ended up getting my ass handed to me. Ended up getting my profits snatched, or be in a winning position, and next thing you know, end up losing. But this time, shit, it was just winter after winter after winter after winter.
Listen, you can't even get in the flow unless you do your due diligence. It's a give and take. It's not just you can just get in the flow and just get you going.
Oh no, actually,
No, it's a give and take.
actually, you're gonna have to go through much suffering and disappointment to get into that flow. When you jump in there, your shit's gonna be all out of flow, trying to get into flow. Getting into flow means you're out of flow, and so because you're out of flow, some shit don't flow right until eventually you've gone through so many disappointments or whatever the fucked up shit you have to go through, how many times you have to go through it in order for things to turn around. All of a sudden, you're in the flow, but you've gone through what you had to go through. It's like a basketball player in the gym. You got to shoot so many free throws, practice the same move over and over until that shit all flows. What in the game, what looked like something that's flowing, all rhythm. Well, they had to go through a lot of practice to get to that point, and most people just see the end result. They don't know about all the shit they had to go through in the gym, day in and day night, building themselves up to be able to flow like that. And that's how it is in just about everything.
Right. The whole universe is governed by Ma'at
Hmm.
and give and take. That's one of the principles of Tahuti too.
Oh yeah, I've been checking out the Emerald tablets, man. That's some cold shit. That's some real cold shit. The Emerald tablets.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Tahuti was trying to preserve that information about our multidimensional experience, in opposed to us being orientated to three dimensions.
Oh yeah. You.
He was making sure that knowledge comes forward over to this energy that we're entering into to facilitate our evolution, our soul evolution. So that's what it was. He was corresponding that ancient knowledge to another DNA. I mean that,
Hmm.
and that's what it is. It's like this is crazy. Do you know that when a baby is born, right? That's not the end of their development. I mean, not in the sense of
Oh, the
getting
development that was going on in the
every
womb.
aspect of them becoming physically able to move on their own and do it. It doesn't happen all in the womb. The other portion of it happens outside of the womb when they breastfeed,
Oh, okay.
right? So
Hmm.
they getting the rest of what was necessary through the breastfeeding. That's why it's imperative that that women out there breastfeed in order for your children to have the full development. A lot of children that are not getting breastfed, they're coming out. They don't have the full, what I'm saying, psychological and emotional development. And
Yeah.
sometimes they put them in special ed, and they diagnose them as having some type of psychological disorder or emotional disorder, and they own psychotropic drugs and shit.
Hmm.
I'm saying why? Because they didn't get the full development.
Yeah. The nourishment. Well, that breast milk passes information from the mother to the
And
baby.
that's where I was going with it. The information Tahuti was trying to, well, not trying to, transferring over to us.
Hmm.
The information he was transferring over to us was similar to that breast milk information. It's the same thing. It's the same information. It's the same, and this is what it's just an energy that we need to be in tuning ourselves to.
Speaking of Tahuti, in the Old Testament, New Testament, in the story of Jesus, there's that period where he disappears, but they say he went to Egypt to get learned. Guess who his teacher was?
Um, um,
Thoth.
Thoth, but he one in the scripture he was named Melchizedek or something like that.
Melchizedek.
Yeah,
Well, it might have. That's a priesthood, I think. But
I may be
it's
mistaken.
well, Tahuti or Hermes. Okay, see the thing about Tahuti or Hermes, he could live for 1,000 years and then go switch, put that body to sleep for 100 years and then use another body. And
Right.
yeah, Tahuti, this, this being was so intelligent. I mean, he lived for thousands and thousands and thousands of
Well,
years.
I think eventually we used to do that fluently. Like that was nothing to go in and out of bodies and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But when we came clothed more in the flesh, that became like something sacred after a while. Like, oh, you had to
But he
live
was doing
this
this. He was
minute.
doing this in the flesh.
No, no,
Tahuti.
I'm no doubt. I agree. I definitely agree. That's some of the information he was trying to allude to us. Like, we're not limited to life and death like that.
Hmm.
So,
And another one of his incarnations was Enoch. Enoch lived 365 years,
mm,
and then after that, he was taken. He was taken, and he became Metatron.
mm,
Yeah, the
right.
the highest one. He's
So
like way.
you saying basically he came back in those uh, historic characters. He came back, and they basically they was the return of Tahuti.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Bert was a great school. Yeah, thanks.
Uh,
I was checking out what yeah, with yeah, see Yarbe said.
I think yeah, but yeah, it's okay, okay. Um, well,
I'm sure Tahuti has an incarnation. Is probably incarnated on the planet now.
when you say incarnate, it appears that he he's actually incarnating right back into another like that is Tahuti
Avatar.
or the Avatar, or could it be they came in the spirit, the same spirit?
No, see, when he's sleeping, he sleep for 100 years, and as he sleep, he dreams, and he can incarnate into his spirit soul dreams, and it goes free, and it can incarnate into other.
You see, you saying we are Tahuti, so you
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
energies
yeah.
that's within us because Tahuti is a archetype. He's an archetype of higher energies inside of us. So you you're
Well,
alluding
it's
you're
this is
alluding
in
to
the Emerald
abilities.
Tablet.
You're alluding to abilities that we all have. Basically.
Well, yeah, well, absolutely. The ability that Enoch had, we have. Enoch, he climbed all the way up the pyramid to the top of the pyramid, and transcended without having to die.
I think they
And
just had access to some higher sacred knowledge, and it made it appear like they were just so advanced or whatever. They just had access to some higher sacred knowledge, and then they utilized it and made it appear like they were gods or they were, you know what I'm saying? They can Because once you, I mean, that's what people will refer to. Okay, they were gods. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Automatically, they'll be like, they're gods.
Yeah, when in the Emerald Tablets he talks about, well, he's the son of Atlantis, and when he formed Kemet, when he him and his crew, they when they're in a ship or something, they come out of the sky and they start approaching the people of the land, and the people of the land, they didn't know who the fuck they were, and they got their
Wow.
spirit.
So Dahuti was not he didn't start Kemet. He probably
Hmm?
was one of the founding fathers. He probably was one
Yeah.
of the fathers.
Well, in the Emerald Tablets, it's in the Emerald Tablets. I was listening to the story
Okay,
of it.
so oh shit. So Tahuti, he
Thought.
basically he was Egypt was a preservation of Atlantis, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
He was
So,
attempting to preserve that sacred knowledge.
yeah.
He was
But here's the
attempting to
truth,
preserve it.
though. When the people of the land, when they were ready to throw their spears at Tahuti and his crew, Tahuti, he had his staff and he just, and they just like froze like that.
Right.
Yeah. And then he unfroze them and they realized what happened. And they like
Okay,
shit through
so
their weapons down.
explain the metaphysical science of what that was what that was referring to, because it's allegory. We are speaking allegorical about metaphysical principles
Hmm.
in the universe, because these archetypes represent functional principles of the universe. They represent certain aspects, characteristics of the universe. I
And
mean, I wouldn't say the necessary of the universe, but the energy, you know what I'm saying, that flows through the universe. So it's a science that breaking down these formulas. So
yeah,
when we
and
say,
so they have spiritual technology, technology that can completely shut a human being down or make them go crazy or make them feel whatever the fuck you want them to feel. It's sort of explaining that, you know Tahuti represented a highly technologically advanced race of beings, spiritually, and technically. In other words, they were advanced not just spiritually but technologically, socially.
wouldn't I understand in the descent, that would be total opposites. To be
Hmm.
spiritual and to be technically advanced would be conflict of interest.
Well, the spirit, not necessarily. I
I'm
mean,
just saying
spiritually.
I don't I see what you're saying, but I'm saying because we're in the ascension right now, so of
Hmm.
course we can integrate all these principles into
But that
one.
wasn't the ascension. That was during that was during
That's what I just said.
the,
That's what I said.
yeah, that was in the
I'm
decent.
I'm just doing my investigative skills right now and just
Oh, okay. So
testing,
now, yeah,
right?
okay. So
Testing.
now
Okay,
you're
that was
thinking what should be the mindset on the ascension versus the mindset on the descension.
right. I think
Hmm.
we move even beyond mindsets at that in the ascension. We are moving beyond mindset. There's no reference point. The mind is actually the heart, the gut, and your heart and your gut is your actual spiritual consciousness. You got
Yeah,
to
but
be in
also,
all of it. You can't
yeah, but
if you're not in tune with all of it, where most people are just going by their minds or what their minds is thinking right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't integrate it with what their gut is telling them. They don't integrate it with what their heart is telling them.
Okay, if we're
These
really going
councils,
back,
these are like your three councils, your elder council,
uh,
right?
well, okay,
Within
but see, here's the thing. According to the secret doctrine, this is our fourth time around the seven root race. Okay, so we went around three times already. So where we're at, we've been here three times prior to this in evolution,
yeah,
which is
we want to move in this new energy, bro. We want to move away from conjecture. So we don't want to go by doctrines. We want to actually do the experiments ourselves and figure out our damn self what cycle we in right now. We don't
yeah,
want to go by
okay,
no
but
doctrines
still,
because everybody's
yeah.
doctrines are based in the energy they was in at the time. We in a whole nother different energy. So we don't know our damn selves, meaning we can literally write the book on it and be the authority on what cycle we actually in. I don't.
Hmm.
I mean, we can take the conjecture and build on it and help on our investigation, but we're in investigative mode. So we the scientists now that we dependent on. We're the
Well, this
spiritual
is
spirit
information that's
that
left
we're
from.
dependent upon.
Okay,
We're
well,
going to
this is
utilize we're going to utilize and incorporate everything possible into
but,
us growing moving forward because that's a lot of that's our ancestral knowledge. But a lot of it been tampered with. A lot of it has been as is been interpreted through the lens of that old energy.
what the point I'm trying to make though, if we've been around this shit before,
Mm-hmm.
then actually that means don't need a fucking book because we already have this super amount of memory that's stored in our DNA and cells of billions and billions, probably trillions of years of experience going through this over
Right,
and
right,
over and over and over and over and over. So yeah, you're right. We should be at the point now to where you don't need a book. You don't. You can just tap into.
are the book. I mean, it's
Yeah,
so
you
we
are.
are the,
We
like
are the book.
if you tap into your genetic memory, and how do you tap into your genetic memory? You see these symbols around that your ancestors left. Like I said, when I went on my pilgrimage to Delaware, mind you, this was all a spiritual experience because I was doing research the whole time, finding out like there's still these indigenous uh, culture that's being represented with the so-called state. There's still, and you can go to some of these states and they recognize the indigenous people all around, right? And their monuments are still there. Why? Because they can't move that stuff. They can't move. This is spiritual. This our ancestors knew what they was doing, bro. They can't
Hmm.
move none of those monuments that were spiritual monuments are sacred to us. They can't
Hmm.
move, right? Like a lot of times we give them the power to go in, but a lot of that shit they scared to move that shit. Like
Okay. Well. That.
when I did my pilgrimage, right?
Hmm.
When I went past the Mississippi River in Memphis, I was in Memphis, right?
Hmm.
And I went past the Mississippi River, right,
Hmm.
with the damn pyramid sitting right there, right on, just like it is on the other side of the Atlantic, though, bro. But then
Yeah. Like
it gave me a
Egypt.
memory of like this is where it started over here.
Yeah.
That that culture of building pyramids started over here.
What if this is
They
Atlanta?
perfected it. They start perfecting it when it got over on that side.
Oh, yeah,
They
but
start perfecting
what if this is Atlantis? But then again, America.
it.
Well,
Atlantis
America
is
is.
so vast though. You can't narrow it down to just this was Atlantis. Atlantis was vast as hell.
Yeah. It was
right?
pretty much the entire landmass.
It was big. It was a big portion of land, bro.
Hmm
What you're referring to as
Because
a
Tahuti was running shit in the Americas, North America, South America, and then they went over there into Africa.
right.
And so, I mean,
Yeah,
it's in
man.
the
These
Emerald
are
Tablet.
people. What happened? I mean, do you got a copy of it right now?
No, I went on. I can email. I can text it to you.
Yeah, pull it up and let's read a little bit of it because that's how
No,
you
it's a
spark.
video, but it's a video and you can read it too. So it's a video, but they have the words on there. You see, you can read it.
See, the thing about it, the brother asking, so this may be Atlantis, right? Atlantis is a whole nother dimension. Atlantis is a whole, of course, this this area, it was a whole nother dimension that it this energy was being emitted in this area, right? But
Hmm
Atlantis was a whole nother dimension that probably simultaneously existed when the energy or the morphic field was different, right? And we're moving into where that morphic field or that energy is getting back to where Atlantis was thriving. We're going back, I'm not back to that energy, but that energy is more relevant now. So people want to like that's why it's been deemed as mythology. It's been Atlantis has been deemed as mythology because it's so removed from the energy that we exist in right now as humanity. It's so removed from that. So it became so mythical in our eyes from the perspective we at right now. But in our evolution, you see how it's becoming more of a topic now. It's
hmm
becoming more relevant now. Why? Because we're moving into the energy where that will be irrelevant. I mean, that will become more relevant. It's just like how I explain crystals to people, right?
hmm
Some people are skeptical of crystals, and they skeptical of crystals, and they think that crystals don't um, have no effect, right? And
Yeah.
the effects are subtle because of the energetic um, level that we at right now, the vibrational level that we at right now.
Let me put it
We
to
are more
you.
orientated. Let me finish. We are
Okay.
more orientated to the artificial energy, right? Like there are still other energies, subtle energies all around us that we're not even aware of. Most of it is artificial, so we're being bombarded with that. So it in ourselves, in us, we've given more relevancy to that artificial energy. So organic energy is going to be more subtle now because in us, we don't give it more relevancy. In our energy doesn't give it. We got to understand how much what we think, what we operate and vibrate on, how it affects reality. If we are vibrating at a level, if we're vibrating at a level where we give more relevancy to artificial energy, it's
Then
gonna
that's
be like, oh, it's gonna be like, oh, crystals don't have no effect. They, yeah, because you're saying it, you keep saying it, and but we're not vibrating in the vibrational energy of crystals do have an effect. It's a subtle energy. That's the energy. That's the energy Atlantis existed in. Crystals were more effective back then because literally crystals are more effective based on the energy of the individual using the crystal.
okay. What's the first law of Tahuti?
The first law of Tahuti is attractions. Law of attraction. What that was? No, it's either attraction or everything is moving.
No, no. First law of Tahuti is mind. The all is mental.
Everything is
Not
mine.
personal.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
The mind makes it real.
So you're okay. So you're adding on to what I'm saying. Yes, right.
Well, no, I'm well. the the number one law of the universe is the law of mentalism. The, the mind makes it real. Okay.
Right.
So with that being the fact, I mean, that's what the person. That's all you need. I mean, that's the foundation right there. The mind. So if the mind makes it real, makes all this shit real, then all one really has to do is just be creative in their own mind, start doing their own rituals, and use and the DNA will open up and start talking to you and telling you what to do and guide you to where you need to go to learn how to structure your shit. And then when you do that, your mind will make it real. Your mind will make it work. The mind will make it real. So
Okay. So
whatever it
yeah,
is,
we're so now when you say that, I have to redefine mind in my reference points now. I have to
okay,
redefine
mind,
mind now.
yeah,
Mind
now,
is not what I thought it was. Is mind is something else now. Mind is literally the combination of the psychic ability. Because that even said is a combination of your psychology, right? Because that's not the end of the mind, right? Also it's intuitive. You get these notions from
it's
nowhere.
infinite. The mind is pretty much it's an aspect of the infinite. Okay, all right. So within the mind, anything, whatever the mind believe is real, becomes real. So the mind is the basis of all magic.
We're saying the same thing. I'm just
Uh-huh.
adding on to what you're saying. We have to redefine the mind now. Why? Because it has more emphasis on there's more to it than what we've been led to believe it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's more to it. Okay, so that's why crystals are important. That's why symbols are important. That's why mantras are very important. All that's why a whole lot of shit is important because when you have the right when you have the right mindset to where if you understand the law of mentalism that the universe is mental then and it's not physical, then you see the universe in a whole different light. It be you don't see it just as this cold place with no oxygen and you know in a vacuum where in all it's just darkness out there. The universe has become you see it as a model of the mind
Okay,
and
so it's encompassed upon those who realize this now to what master their minds now.
and
They have
by
to
doing
master
that
their mind.
you can make what appears to be things that are impossible possible. You can manifest what into being what you want to happen and what you need to happen in your life so you can evolve. I mean, in order to evolve, you're gonna have your mind's gonna have to evolve. You're gonna have to evolve your mind. It's gonna have to be start with the mind first. You got a lot of people that okay working with crystals or this and that setting up altars and everything, but probably don't really believe that all that stuff really works, but they're hoping that by doing this something magical happens and it helps them, but they don't understand it's all in the mind. It's the mind.
Right. I mean, the thing about it is, I'm agreeing with you that because when you convince your subconscious mind of something, that's when you create. That's when you magic source comes from. That's where your magical source comes from.
Yeah, that you gain access to infinite
Subconscious
intelligence.
mind of something.
Yeah, and yeah, and and also you got to be willing to continue on after you failed when things aren't working or haven't worked. You still have, I mean, mentally, you got to believe that this shit works no matter what, the resistance or what the world is trying to show me. I know my magic works. I know my magic is effective.
No, of course you go through the process. You have a theory, which is spiritually a belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that belief through more experience, through more experiments, you literally become more. It becomes belief, and it evolves into faith. Then
It was,
you become more thorough in the science of it. Then it evolves into a fruition to where now you become what you know.
yeah. I mean,
So it's a
actually,
process.
it that should be your magic should be the main thing. Like there was time in my life where that was the only thing I had going, the only thing good I had going for me,
I
and
mean,
that was all I needed. And that should make it just makes everything works out. It just put everything just like a magnet, just pulling shit together. It's like a magnet just pulling shit.
well, at this point, if you're not doing magic, then you're working against yourself because you are magic.
Yeah. If you're being 2 3 dimensional. If you're being 2 3 dimensional right
I
now,
mean, you're not vibrating in the energy that you are. You are magic, so you use magic. You apply magic.
hmm yeah, we're closing out the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, and in the Aquarian age, stuff like magic, and all the things related to that, all the spiritual shit. That's what the Aquarian age is all about. It's about evolving, evolution, going to the next level. But the Piscean age, that was about having faith and believing, begging, and hoping.
Right, but that's why I began the show with the whole applying mentalism of reference points that have been inundated in our minds. We have to shift them now. We have to change them in our minds. Like a lot of reference points. Like this is why we're going. And that class is every Wednesday too, bro. I'm gonna send you the link to the recurring link.
Yeah.
A lot of misconceptions, a lot of programming that help support that old energy, that help support that old frame of thinking. We're perpetuating it too. We're keep perpetuating it in our heads, so we have to deconstruct it and reconstruct something else.
Yeah, that's not easy. That's like, you ever had those 3 balls in your hand and you try to make them go the other way?
No.
Where you have these balls in your hands and you make them, and you
Yeah,
try to make, yeah, that's what that's like mentally.
it's possible though.
Yeah, it's
As long
possible.
as possible, then uh, those who have the endurance and they'll make it. But they'll make it eventually, but not probably this time. That's at this point, it's like due diligence, or it's like, are you one of those ones who are willing to do the work?
Yeah, you got to be willing to throw. Some people, you gotta be like a scientist at this shit. You got to be willing to throw yourself into the lake and see if you can swim out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Talking about experiment. You got to be willing to experiment.
yeah, you got to be willing to experiment, put everything on the line in a sense. Because then eventually, at some point, you will have to do that. You will have to put everything on the line. Where,
That's why I didn't dismiss, you know what I'm saying, going to people who have went through the experiments that they wrote in the literature. Yeah,
mhm.
I encourage you to read all their literature. But when I'm
Yeah,
saying
you,
is what I'm saying is that you incorporate that into the way you're doing your rituals and you moving forward and your
mhm.
evolution. You
Yeah,
incorporate everything. That's why I said that you incorporate everything. You have to
yeah,
be
you
able.
leave no
That's one
stone
of
unturned.
yeah. That's one of the science that you have to be able to master too. Is to
Knowledge
be
is
able to see
universal.
all of these different schools of thought and be able to incorporate it into one unified doctrine.
Yeah. Hmm.
I've done it already. You feel
Yeah,
me?
it's,
I've done it already. I already see that there is no conflicts, but people are making conflicts. No, there is no
there's no
conflict.
conflicts. No, no, because all this shit, it, it's the same old, just said a different way or given a whole different name, but pretty much have the same aspects.
If all is mine, this is all in our minds. We're creating this.
Absolutely, it's all in our mind.
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
creating this whole reality with our minds. I mean, I've been saying this stuff since day one, and no one has grasped it yet until we start. You know what I'm saying? Talking about mentalism now.
yeah,
Like, come
but
on now.
now, okay. Oh, this is some now for us to get to that next point, get to that next level. You're gonna have, yeah, like I said, we are gonna have to put it all on the line to where it's like you, you don't know if you're gonna make it or not, but you do know. But nothing.
Give me. Like I said, you have to have confidence in your ancestors, right? Because if you don't, you're going to
Mhm.
allow the archons programming to offset you going forward. This is what I'm saying is any anything that is not attaching yourself to the what ancestors are trying to make you. They left you a line to go get back to it. I mean, not to
Mhm.
necessarily get back, but you know what I'm saying. Do Sankofa.
Yeah,
Sankofa
but
meaning look.
also at the same
Sankofa
token,
meaning look back, but still moving forward. Look back, but still moving forward. That concept in itself told you that we simultaneously exist in both in the past and the future. This is why
yeah,
you have to look back, but still move forward.
yeah, but at the
Sankofa,
same token, though, if you not if you're not like I said, sometimes you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. And in that point, you have these butterflies, or you have this you're feeling it. You're feeling it. And
right?
then you do make it. And
That's
then
the
and
doubt.
each time,
That's the doubt, and that's the doubting that builds up, the insecurity that builds up because you're in the prison of your own mind right now. You bought in. You bought into the program. You bought into the social engineering. They groomed you. They groomed you to be your own worst enemy.
that's not what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is you are
I didn't say
you
you
know,
said
you're
that.
not groomed.
I
You're
didn't say
not
you said that.
oh, okay. Well, I'm not talking about that particular person though. I'm talking about I'm talking about the hero, the path of the hero. The path
Path
of
of
the
the
hero.
hero.
Yeah, and that's our path. That's the path we're on. Where you go through these adventures, you go through these challenges. Don't look like you're going to make it all the time, but somehow when you when it don't look like you're gonna make it, some shit happens, a feather fall out the sky and you grab it, and all of a sudden you get some superpowers and you make it through.
No, I definitely agree with that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I
Yeah,
definitely agree with that.
yeah,
When all else, when it seems like is all, look at how look it's crazy because look at what we've been doing this whole time. We've been doing magic the whole time since we've been in this condition. So what do you think is going to happen when something a greater condition of our, you know what I'm saying? What happens when something come online? Like I definitely believe, I was saying that years ago
well,
too.
that's how it's gonna come online by us.
Some gonna kick in when it all else fails.
Yeah, well, this is how the shit comes online, by going through the adversities and going through that period that point where it looked like you're not going to make it. That's where it comes online now.
Yeah,
If you don't go through that, it don't come online.
you're right. No, you're definitely right. You are definitely right.
Yeah,
You are
and it
definitely
takes
right.
balls to get to there.
So you saying someone is purposely trying to activate that by creating the most desperate situation where they're gonna have to come online.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
purposely
do that.
being done.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
I'm that
can't
motherfucker.
agree.
I'm that motherfucker because it has to be done. I'm the motherfucker that's crazy to do that shit.
Right. I mean, what I'm saying, what we're saying, brother, is reality is not what you've been convinced of.
No,
It's not. It's not.
no,
It's
no,
not. You've been convinced of
no.
reality that someone is controlling you based on what they convinced you of.
Well, actually, and and they're doing it like this. They gave you the suggestion, and you took the suggestion, and you're the one that's putting your own self under house arrest.
Right.
Yeah, because
So it's just like what he just said about we have reference points. That's why when I started the show, I said all the reference points are got to destroy them. We have a reference point that has been lodged in our head, and that's a program, right? Just like you said, this over here is Atlantis, and I said Atlantis is a whole nother dimension.
Yeah.
Now, when I say Atlantis, that when I gave him that answer, more likely his reference point is is it a physical place? Is it a physical place? Huh?
Is it a physical place?
See? Was Atlantis a physical place?
Yes, because the physical is
Eventually,
the
it became
bottom.
what I think it after it became what was considered physical. It became a shadow of what it was before it became physical. It
Well,
was a shadow. It wasn't necessarily physical. What I'm trying to tell you, when the culture, what I'm saying is the culture, the knowledge, the science of it, it continue, it persists.
Yeah.
But that don't mean Atlantis was a physical place.
No, it was an idea. It was a state of mind.
It was a state of mind. It was a mythical place.
Yeah.
When you're saying a mythical meaning it's beyond. It'll lose your human consciousness. It'll lose your human consciousness.
Now, this place is a hell of a state of mind. This is this place, this epoch that we're in is one hell of a state of. I mean, imagine what they're gonna call this in the future in the history books. This epoch.
Listen. We keep telling ourselves the powers we have, and then discrediting it by thinking like something else outside of us going to arbitrarily make decisions and giving it. Come on, we contradicting ourselves, which is one of our our greater,
No,
our
I'm
greater
talking
spiritual.
about the people in the
Oh no, no,
future.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying in general. This
Oh,
is one of our spirit. This is one of our. We are based in contradiction. We're gonna always contradict ourselves in humanity.
well, yeah, that's
Humanity
part.
is a contradiction in itself.
Well, that's just the nature of the beast. Just like a dog loves to smell shit, it can't help it. No telling how. No matter how intelligent the dog is or how learned it is, if it's walking down the street, it sees some shit, it's gonna go smell it.
Right,
It's okay, because that's what a dog does.
right.
Okay, now with consciousness stuck in humanity, humanity has its own intelligence. It does what it does. But even though it does what it does, the dude got to do what it do.
All reference points are breaking down. I had a discussion with the brother the other day, today, as a matter of fact, and
Mm-hmm.
basically, I hadn't been associated with the Moore Science Temple for a couple of years now, but the brother, he's a sheik
Mm-hmm.
at the Moore Science Temple, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he asked me, "Have you got associated with a temple recently?" I was like, "Well, I've evolved beyond that doctrine now." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"How?" He was like, "How?" I was like, "Okay, well, in the doctrine, it speaks of citizenship. When I
Mm-hmm.
just looked up the word citizenship, I don't want to politically even associate with that. I'm a national, right? I'm a national of a pre-existing government that, and that's the thing. Like, we really never had the time to even go through this in our heads. He had that discussion like it was already preset, like because they already told you this. This is all the programming.
Yeah.
We never have so-called black people ever had time to say, do we want to be United States citizens or not? Have we ever had that discussion? Have any of us had that discussion?
No.
No, we just got pushed in under circumstances into that position.
Yeah,
Stop
someone
it.
put us in the
And we're not,
frame.
and the thing about it is, we're not even considered full citizens. We have some type of proxy status based on some past legislation and amending of the Constitution, bro. That's some quasi status, man. That's not full citizen. Because if we was given full citizenship, they would have just accepted everything we are based on the original document, which is the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
There wouldn't need to be no provisions. So they
They don't
gave you
do
some pseudo status, and you just satisfied with that. Okay, I'm not
no.
against it, and that was the basis of kind of like I've evolved beyond that thinking now. I've done some more research.
Well, as a spiritual being, you're already evolved beyond that. I mean,
We all
I
are,
mean,
but some have not. We all are, but some have not gotten to that point in their own self development yet.
okay. Well, me, I'm at the. I can see just from my spiritual development, all what you're talking about. I can see the importance of that because that supports my spiritual being as well. Because how in the hell can you call yourself a god or a goddess and you're a slave?
That part, and the fact that we are supposed to be vibrating on our nature. We're not supposed to be adjusting our nature to vibrate in somebody else's society. As soon
Oh,
as you're doing that, as soon as you're trying to adjust your nature, your true nature, to
mm,
something to exist and be accepted, you just what they call dishonored your ancestors. When you dishonor, see the
yeah,
scripture was very precise in the sense of giving us the principles to align ourselves with the certain energies that will be in our best on earth,
yeah,
on in this
yeah.
vibrational
Okay.
state of being called earth.
Yeah.
So we didn't follow some of the principles. We started adjusting and adopting other people's existence on Earth, their way of existing, which is mostly based in artificial. I wouldn't say necessarily artificial, but I would say recessive genetics. Now, our position is totally diametrically, or it could be a tribute to diametrically opposed to their reality. So as soon as we start adjusting to their reality, you can see why we in the predicament we in.
Well, that's part of the evolution because I think this happens every time when we're at this point in our evolution.
I mean, we start realizing beyond what we've been taught. The programming, we're coming out of it. I mean, a lot of us are coming out of the programming, which was our slavery. That is our slavery, the programming, the constructive language. We've been convinced of a lot of stuff that's not true from our perspective, from our status, from our worldview. It's not true for us. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that I say. I was saying Moors, just by you proclaiming your Moorish status, politically you're saying you're foreign to the United States. Politically, because Moors had trees with the United States. So we wouldn't like some Moors, like we had a discussion. I agree with them. He said, yeah, not all of us. The brother said, not all of us. And I said, yeah, you're right. Because some Moors have agreed to join their Jura society. They gave up their political allegiance to Morocco. They
Hmm.
gave it up, which is fine. It's fine. But what I'm saying, or they gave a portion of it, it's like, I mean, for the most part, the Moors, they gave up all theirs because they don't have no political allegiance to Morocco again. Meaning we supposed to be raising Morocco back up. Our political allegiance is with Morocco originally, and that's where our superior status was. Over
Well,
here.
over here, okay, because you said, remember over here, you said when you saw the pyramid over here, and it reminds you of the pyramid over there. Remember, you said we were running shit over here,
And
and
over there.
we,
It's a global. It
yeah,
was a
and over
global.
there.
It was a global hegemony, a global
Okay, so
empire.
whatever, okay, whatever it was, whatever sovereignty or nationality or whatever fuck you call it, that we were here prior to the Europeans, whatever our allegiance was here on this land, then that's what we must go back to
Yes. And
on this land.
the thing about it is, it varies because, and what, see, this is how I explain it. It's like most tribes here
Hmm.
that wanted to secure the interest of their tribal, they would join in a political allegiance with Morocco. Is what I'm saying. Why? Because Morocco was so vast and so, you know what I'm saying, and it had these it had these channels open to where tribes will have more access. You know what I'm saying, on a larger scale on economics, because they will get the same uh, they will get the same when two countries are in allegiance with each other, they're going to share trading secrets with each
Same
other.
interest. They're gonna
You know what I'm saying?
there's
So those tribes thrived. Those tribes thrive. Now, I'm not saying all the tribes had political allegiance with Morocco. I'm not saying
uh-huh.
that. I'm not saying they all had political allegiance with Morocco. But the
Yeah.
ones who have political allegiance with Morocco, why? Because we looking at Morocco, right? And we saying that, okay, that's over there in Africa, right?
Hmm.
That's another concept that is based on a societal view, like a world global societal view. So when we were saying the Moroccan Empire, that's when a lot of different Moorish states had came together. They had came together. Of course, it didn't last long because everybody was fighting over who was going to be in charge of the shit. Eventually, just like we doing today. we can't set aside and just say, okay, we're going to have a voting system where we vote people in and they'll be a representative. That's why the European is like they got such an advantage over us as it pertains to this shit, like politics and stuff. They got such an advantage over us because
So,
they taking our systems of government and they run with the shit and apply it and don't allow that not only themselves to break those concepts. They of course they getting corrupt. That's why they shit is coming down now because they falling
yeah,
from
well, everything
they falling from the
degenerates.
principles. That's why I don't judge the science though. The science is not they're not applying the science in its full, you know what I'm saying, in its righteous way.
So they're degenerating just like how we degenerated now. They're at that point
Exactly, because
where
we
where
weren't
we
vibrating
been.
on the right things.
Yeah,
We
where
weren't
we been.
vibrating on the right thing. Look, there was, we got to end it in a minute because I got to go to my other show. This was
Okay.
a good point what a sister said about what happened in the Moorish movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, everybody was fighting over the authority. First of all, right? One
Mm-hmm.
group who said that they had the authority said no, one group that supposedly had the succession authority to have the charters and all that stuff and give other people charters was one group of Moors that said they was Temple One. Then there was another group saying they was Temple One. But one group that was basically known for being the right succession temple, right? They said, okay, we're going to join forces, and eventually the succession of the power will be given amongst everyone eventually, right? The power will be amongst everyone eventually, right? The
Mm-hmm.
one group said, no, how we know you're not going to give us, we're going to eventually give the power. So basically they challenged their agreement and said, no, how we know you're going to do it? So that's what the breakdown of the whole temple was right now, where everybody is claiming the original authority, right? And
Mm-hmm.
no one's willing to bow down to the succession that was originated by the prophet. The prophet Noble Drew Ali was the one who created the organization, so we should be going by what he said, right? But
Okay, but he's going by, which means he's going by something that was prior to him.
no, for sure, no doubt for sure. But his organization is his organization, so you cannot, you cannot add unless he wanted you to add to it. You can't take away unless he wanted you to take away from it. That's his organization. So
Okay.
they should operate his organization the same way he created it. They should operate the same way. No, of course, that's obscure too because there was a lot of infiltration done in the temple. So like I've read documents that said something different from like I had two different Qurans. I had two different Qurans and some of the lettering was changed and I'm like and I had two different constitutions. Some of
Mm-hmm.
the letters was changed in it. So I'm like, that's suspect right there in itself. So I
Yeah.
go, some temples give me a circle. I mean, okay, I got one right here. Damn, I probably have to go through it. I probably have to go through it next week. But one temple gave me a constitution and bylaws, and it had slightly different wording than another temple's constitution and bylaws. And I was like, that's infiltration right there. That's something suspicious, and y'all need to do some investigation. And the thing about it is how they just allow it and just nobody says nothing about it. I'm the only one. I know I ain't the only one that caught it. I know I ain't the only one that caught it. Y'all just ain't saying nothing. But that's what's going on in that organization, though. So,
Mm.
of course, eventually, people are going to be more mindful and go outside of what's been told. You're going to go outside of what's been told when you be suspicious of people who telling you stuff. Now I'm suspicious of you now.
Yeah.
Like I gotta go do some of my own research now because you suspicious.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to do this shit on, on our own as our own.
Well, it's all the information, it's already available. We just gotta do the right research. And the reason, like, my thing is how I do research on the internet, man. It's like really different from most people's research because I don't.
Okay. Oh, all right. And then after the research, then we have to come up with, we have to organize. There has to be some type of organization,
Of
unification,
knowledge.
organization to begin structuring a a plan of action to bring this about, bring this into complete fruition instead of just talking about it. All right, we're talking about it and everything, and that's great. But
Listen, brother, this shit is being implemented. That
mhm,
last meeting you was in shows exactly the progress we've made, and that's just scratching the surface what we're doing. We've been doing this for over 3 years. Of
mhm,
course, like imagine what is how many years it's going to take for all of this to actually come into fruition when we have to not only deal with the misconception and we got to break down all of the constructive language, all of the what the colonizers have convinced us of. We got to break all that down first, and
mhm.
then we have to be in the public. Like I like what the brother said. We got to create a rapport with the people. We can't
Yeah,
come at the people. We can't come at the people trying to teach them. No,
yeah,
no. Create a rapport. Create a rapport. Then once you create a rapport, we can start having conversations, right? Because
mhm,
we know each other now. Like I know you, you know me. We can start
mhm.
having certain conversations now. We got
Yeah,
to create a rapport with the people first, though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like you
mhm.
said. You gotta have some
You can
footprint
only
on. You
catch.
gotta have money to it.
Yeah, you got to catch. Yeah, you
And
can
now
only catch these
I
with
didn't.
honey.
Me personally, I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it, but I know it's necessary. Right?
Yeah,
I'm a harsh person. I like, and I'm personally what like harsh reality. Me personally, tell me the harsh reality.
you,
I thrive off that for some reason. I don't know, but
yeah,
some people can't take it like that, and they get offensive when. And it look. I've learned this. Most people are offended because they look at you as the same as them, and you introduce an information that they know that they're not privy to. So they like you down here with me. You a slave just like that's their perception of you though.
yeah,
You a slave just like me,
yeah. Well,
right? So they can't respect it coming from you. They would rather hear it coming from somebody that they respect. You know what I'm saying? Because if their perception of you is oh you just like they don't have a clue. They're judging you like before they even get to know you. First of all, so their
well, that's
perception of
human
you is
nature.
like they can't accept it coming from you.
Yeah, but see, that's human nature. But then again, at the same token, experience. If you coming from experience, if you, which I do, I'm make sure I'm gonna come at you from some from experience, something that I know, something that I've been through,
Right,
and not only that, but purposely, uh, I did purposely, and it happened. All right, so I'm applying, the will, and the shit is happening. That's my magic. So I'm gonna come at you at that point. I'm gonna come at you with well, real true experience, real true principles that I know work because I apply them. And if
right,
I
right,
know,
right,
and these principles that were at one point was just words on a piece of paper to me, before I found out what these principles were and applied them. If these words on a piece of paper will work if you apply these same principles to your life, to your personality, with your creativity, guess what? It's going to work. especially if you believe it. The mind's going to make it real. So if you believe that the mind is all, and the mind makes everything real, you can take on any principle and apply it, and that shit will on micro levels on up will start happening. Should start It happens on micro levels, and then it works its way up, and next thing you know, shit, you have the big giant organism starting from, from the micro from the micro. Your
Right.
magic Our magic work. And anyone don't believe in themselves, um, they need to get over that. I Unfortunately, I know a lot of people that have a lot of unfortunate things happening in their lives, and they're saying, why me? Why me, Lord? Why me, Lord? Well, the reason why, the fact that you're saying, why me, Lord, that's why you're going through what you're going through, because you believe in the Lord. Okay. And you don't believe in your own self and your own magic. You don't believe that you have power and that you can command the universe to work in your favor. And
That's one of the worst things that the archons led humanity to believe in their inferiority to some entity outside of themselves.
hmm yeah,
That's the
and they,
worst. That's what enslaves you to your own. You know what I'm saying?
your own doom.
Abilities. It keeps you away from your own ability.
Yeah, you'll never know any magic other than one day you prayed and your prayer came true.
Not knowing that was you who did it, not
Yeah, that
entity
was you.
outside of yourself. Not some if you did pray and something came about, guess what? That was you.
Yeah, that was you.
That was no other entity outside of yourself. So with that,
Yeah.
we gotta move on to the next show, bro. So yeah.
Okay. All
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
Good looking out, brothers coming through all the time. We got to, you know what I'm saying, put these spiritual messages out to the people, man, so they can be in the energy, in the vibration, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We help
Changing the
facilitating that.
ecosystem.
We help them the facilitation of the new vibration.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Peace, y'all.
Well, peace. All
Chaos.
right. Man, chaos.